Ace Real Grizzlies. I'd like to acknowledge that our Career Education Day today is taking place in the traditional unceded territory of the Balt, Chewek, and Sabath. So thank you very much as we go through our Career Education Day. Before I pass it to our keynote speaker, the main focus we want for all students is really simple. Attendance, big check. You're here, it's awesome. We want to make it a meaningful, great day for you. The next part is engagement. When you're going through all your sessions today, just dial in, ask some questions. We have a lot of guests. Be super respectful of our guests coming through. I hope you get a lot out of the day. At the very end of the day, it's very important. There's a reflection assignment. Please slow down on that one. Don't just say, hey, it was cool. Give meaningful feedback, and then you're in great shape for your career education. It's my pleasure now to be able to introduce our keynote speaker, is Greg Stewart. Greg was born in Victoria and then was raised in Kamloops, British Columbia. After high school, he went to Thompson Rivers University. There he achieved the Bachelor's of Business degree. And while he was getting his degree, as you can tell, there's a very big guy behind me here. He competed in basketball and volleyball. In his 5th year of basketball, he got the CIS Defensive Player of the Year award. In 2017, he moved his athletic talents to the international stage and started competing in track and field and shot put, specifically the F46 division. In 2018, he won the gold medal at the Harry Jerome Classic. And then in 2020, he competed for Canada in the Paralympic Games, where he gained a gold medal and a record-setting 16.75 meter throw in shot put. So with that in mind, I'm going to pass over to Greg so he can share a little bit more about his achievements and his experiences. Please give a warm round of applause for Greg Stewart.
All right. First of all, I'm really impressed by what you were able to know about me without a cue card in front of you. So beautiful. Okay, we're gonna try something. And pardon me, I have a cold, so if I'm sniffling, my apologies. Raise your hands if at any point during this you were feeling uncomfortable. Like, why is he not saying anything? What the heck is going on here? Did anyone feel kind of uncomfortable in this like silence? That was 2 minutes of silence. That's what that was. That was only 2 minutes. And I'm sure for many of you in here, that might have seemed like either a really long time or were actually too distracted because they were talking to their neighbor, because they didn't actually want to experience that discomfort. They would rather numb it out by talking to someone else. Right? We have choices to make when we are feeling uncomfortable. And like, this is career education, all right? This is just high school. There is a lot more going on outside of this, all right? The world is massive, okay? And the things that are going on around the world are crazy and incredible. But your environment, in a way, is dictated by your choices and your actions. Usually when I do this, 2 minutes of silence, I do it often in most of my talks. When I do it with adults, someone always speaks up. Always speaks up. You'll be like, go Greg, or hey, you can do this, or hey, I'm feeling really uncomfortable, and they just talk through that silence. It's happened every time. When I do it with high schools, it's silent, except for everyone talks to their neighbor. And we're often just talking about it because it's uncomfortable. But today, I want to share with you, when you are in that discomfort, there is an opportunity to create incredible things. There is an excellent opportunity for you to create great things, exciting things, joy, happiness, love, everything like that. But it's your choice. So started off, I want to share a little story with you. So I've had the opportunity to compete for Canada at the Paralympic Games. Does anyone know what this is? Any people in track and field here? It's Toyota, yeah, but what is this? What am I holding in my hand? It's a bib. Okay, it's a bib in track and field. You wear this on your chest and on your back. The purpose of it is to identify who you are, and then when you're competing, they're able to judge you and whatnot. This is from Tokyo. Last year, I had the opportunity to compete for Canada in Paris. And there's two big differences between these two. Yes, I understand they say Toyota, they have the places on the bottom. But there's a significant difference. And the difference is, this one has a background under my name. This one doesn't. And the reason is because I'm the defending Paralympic champion. When you guys are writing tests, or when you're competing in your sport, or when you are trying to meet an expectation, do you ever feel pressure? Raise your hands here if you've ever felt pressure. So let me say almost everybody in this room. Is it really uncomfortable at times? Are we struggling? We are struggling. But something that probably also happens that you might not be aware of is you get really upset. And you get really angry. And you push people away. So on September 4th, I was competing for my second Paralympic championship, competing for hopefully my second Paralympic gold medal. But on September 2nd, when I woke up, I hated everybody. I hated my wife, I hated my coach, I hated all the team staff, everyone that was there to support me, I could care less about. Because I felt so uncomfortable because of the pressure of meeting the expectation of winning another gold medal. And because of that expectations, I was instantly uncomfortable, and so instead of moving through it, I was thinking, screw you, it's your fault. I'm uncomfortable, so screw you. Hey coach, you didn't train me enough. Hey IST, my physio and all that, you guys didn't do all the proper work to make sure that I'm in healthy shape right now. My wife, Taylor, hey, you haven't supported me enough. I was feeling all of that just because I was uncomfortable. And I will guarantee everyone in this room, when they are uncomfortable, will point the finger at other people. but we're only doing that because of the discomfort we're feeling. So I'm going to talk to you about something that I think is really important. It's called vulnerability. Anybody here know what vulnerability means? You put your hand up. Do you want to, would you care to share what it means? No, I know. The gentleman behind you did. Fair enough. Does anyone here want to share with me what vulnerability means? Because he actually demonstrated it. Yeah. 100%. Showing you yourself. Vulnerability, being vulnerable means being open and honest about your feelings, your experiences, even when it's hard or uncomfortable. He showed a level of vulnerability. He raised his hand really quickly. I think he might have been doing it just because. But then when I asked him, could you share? You could tell right away he was uncomfortable. That discomfort, that's vulnerability. And you have an opportunity to do something about it. I have this example. What's the youngest age group? 9? Or sorry, not 9. Grade 9 here. So grade 9s, last year were you like the top of middle school? And then came here and now you're the bottom? I just happened to grade 7s because of my last school. But vulnerability is being like, hey, I was the top of my school, now I'm here and I'm the bottom and this sucks. This is super uncomfortable. That's what's experiencing vulnerability. And I'm just straight up, you will feel this all the time. That's why we did silence for 2 minutes, just so you can know what it feels like. But in order to understand vulnerability, you need to be mindful. Anyone here willing to share with me what mindfulness means? Anyone want to try? Yeah.
Like being careful and like considerate.
Yeah. Just being aware. Right? I'll show you what awareness looks like. Picture on your left is me walking out of my bedroom. I'm sure all of you are wondering how tall I am. Anybody good at math here? I'm 4'38". I'm 4 feet 38 inches. Also known as 7'2". I am 7'2". Can everyone show me their elbow? And can you do this with your arm? I can do it a lot faster than all of you. I'm 7'2" and I was born without my arm. I do not have an arm, which is pretty obvious. And my life is very different. But if I wasn't mindful about my life or aware of my life, life would be really challenging. The average doorway is 6'8". Right? I'm 6 inches taller than that. If I didn't duck under every doorway, excuse me, we all know what would happen. What am I doing in that middle picture? I'm trying to have a bath. Is it working? So why is it, explain to me, why is it that we try to force ourselves in situations we don't fit in? Why is it that we're always trying to be a part of a group that we know we aren't a part of? FOMO for sure. What does FOMO mean? Absolutely. But FOMO is just describing how uncomfortable you're feeling. Why are we always trying to force ourselves in situations? Oh, I was told that I can't move certain ways. That's why it's making weird noises. I figured it out. Why are we forcing ourselves in situations we'll never fit in? Why are we always trying to be a part of groups that we'll never be a part of? I don't take baths. I'm 7'2", I don't fit in them. So I change, I have a shower, because that's what works. And if we don't give ourselves the opportunity to try something different that actually works, we're never gonna know. The last one is just a picture of me in an airplane. I hate flying. I was in India a couple weeks ago for World Championships, and my flight home from Delhi to Toronto was 16 and a half hours long. And that was my legroom the entire trip. The mindfulness piece I had to be aware of is that I had to get up and go for a walk on a regular basis. Because if I don't know if you're aware, when you fly for long distances, your legs usually swell up. There's very little water, so you have to make sure you're trying to find as much water, stretching, everything like that. But if I wasn't mindful of that, getting home would be very uncomfortable. Okay, I've talked about vulnerability, I've talked about mindfulness. These are things that are really important. But these are far more important. Does anybody know what integrity means? Anyone here want to share with me what integrity means? Anyone want to take a guess? I know you want to answer, and I appreciate that. Raise a hands here who might have an idea but is actually scared to put their hand up. Okay. Absolutely. Being honest, being open when no one is looking or watching. Raise the hands who here has homework. Awesome. Okay, hands up. Who here has homework? Said they're going to do their homework but haven't done their homework. Okay. So integrity is doing the right thing or the most loving thing when no one's looking or asking. So in a way, when we're given homework, there's an expectation that we will do our homework. When we don't do it, we often get in trouble for it. By mishanded in assignments, low marks, we're not trustworthy. Integrity is one of the most important foundations that we are built on. But more importantly, your integrity is your morals and your values. Can you raise your hand if you are in a sport of some sort? Is one of those integrities in your sport to train hard, work hard, when you fail, get back up, when you make a mistake, apologize and move forward? Those are typical morals and values of being in sports. But on top of it, those are still values and morals that should apply when you're not at your sport. Anybody here have a dirty bedroom? Is there a lot of people not wanting to admit they have a dirty bedroom? I know I have a little bit of a dirty bedroom. Same question, who here said they're going to clean their bedroom and haven't done it yet? Man, that half of the gym have really clean houses and rooms, but except for the 3 up front. That's fair. Right? Following through on your word, doing the important things, especially without being asked. You guys should know what this word means. It's part of your ROAR fundamentals. Anyone know what it means? Yeah. Sorry, a little louder. Yeah. Owning up to your responsibilities, being accountable. Right? But one thing I think often gets forgotten in ownership, it's not just like tangible things, like I own this shirt, right? I own these rings. It's beyond that. Ownership is actually more about taking ownership of your emotions. Who here has ever been angry? If you don't have your hand up, I don't believe it. Who here has ever been sad? Okay, who here has been happy? Perfect. My apologies. I should have taken some ownership at the very beginning of my presentation today and asked for, and said that, hey, I'm going to ask you questions. Okay, and I really appreciate when you get involved and when you're raising your hand and whatnot or answering a question I ask. I do ask, though, that once that's been done, we can try our best just to calm ourselves, just so I can get through the presentation. When we are chatting for longer periods of time, it's harder to get through it. And on top of it, kind of like slows the momentum, right? I've been in the chairs that you've been in before. I've sat when we had speakers too. And sometimes it can be challenging to get through it. But when you can give me an opportunity to get through it the best I can, it means you can receive the most. So I just ask that if I'm asking questions and whatnot, that you try to do your best afterwards just to calm yourselves down so we can get through it. Because at the same time, I have no problem standing here and just staring at you. Ownership is owning your emotions. Right? Anyone here have a brother or a sister? All right, me too. I have an older brother and a younger brother. They're not as tall as me. Anybody have a brother or sister who got really mad at them before and got in trouble for it? All of us in here? Imagine if instead of freaking out on them, imagine you made a mistake and you said sorry. Imagine forgiving them for what they did instead of lashing out at them. Because if you can start practicing that now, taking ownership of your emotions and your actions, does it sound like it's cutting out to you guys too? Okay. I think it's me from standing. I'm just told not to walk around too much. If you can take ownership of your emotions and your actions, you'll create great things. You'll probably strengthen your relationship with people and with things. I'll share a quick story. My mom, she'd get upset with me if I shared this story, but my mom is a worrier. Anyone's parents worry about you a lot? I understand that. I'm not a parent yet. My wife's pregnant. She's due here in February, and this is one of the things that I'm like worried about. Oh, thank you. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what the excitement is because it is terrifying to think about. But my mom's a worrier, and she worries a lot. So I'm 39 years old. And when I was 30, I was out with friends late night. I think I went to bed like quite early in the morning. Anyways, my mom couldn't get a hold of me because I was sleeping. And she showed up at my apartment, bawling her eyes out with my dad and just completely freaking out because she thought something had happened to me. Right? Which is totally understandable. I understand where she's coming from. But I hated it. And instead of being like, hey mom, I appreciate you checking in, I was like, screw you. I am 30 years old. You need to leave me alone. More importantly, you need to know that I'm okay. Because I hate the fact that I now have to have an uncomfortable conversation with you and let you know I'm going to be fine. I'm 30 years old. Let me be and live my own life. So a few days later, I actually went and had a conversation with my mom, and I was like, hey mom, I don't appreciate you showing up at my doorstep, losing your mind because you're worried about me. Because that only actually makes me worry more. And instead, I want you to start trusting me more. Trusting me that, hey, I'm going to be okay. That I'm going to get through this. And I'm not going to lie, it was a very, very uncomfortable conversation. But I told her, let's work together on trusting me. And my relationship with my mom has changed drastically because of that conversation. Because I took ownership of the fact that I was feeling really upset and I didn't want to feel that way anymore. The irony of this conversation is that when I worry now, my mom tells me to trust. But when you can have those difficult conversations, when you can take ownership on how you're feeling, you can create great things. In this case, I created a better relationship with my mom. How do we take ownership? Acknowledge when we're wrong. Or acknowledging someone else when they're wrong. Forgiveness, apologizing. Apologizing can be one of the hardest things we do. Because we have to admit that we were wrong. But when we admit to being wrong, we open ourselves up for the opportunity to grow. Oh look, doing your homework. Following through on your word. How many people here say they're going to do something and then don't do it? I think it's a pretty common thing. Because again, if we say we're going to do something, we don't do it, we aren't trusted. But that actually brings us to the third word. Trust. Does anyone here in this room trust other people? Few of us. Does anyone in here trust themselves? That was awesome. That's better. Thank you. The reason, the reason I asked those two questions is if you answered that you trust other people, but then didn't answer that you trust yourself, there's a very big disconnect there. Because in order for you to trust other people, you need to know what trust feels like. You need to know what trust is. And if you don't trust yourself, how could you trust someone else? Does anybody here love another person? I do. I love a lot of people. Same question. Do people here love themselves? Interesting. Same principles apply. Oftentimes, oh, I'm going to show love and I'm going to support this person, yet I don't do any love or support for myself. How can I love someone else? If you don't trust yourself, it's going to be really challenging to trust other people. But ultimately, trust means a belief that no matter what the outcome is, you're going to be okay within reason. This is also not an excuse. well, I'm just gonna try, I'll be okay. No, that's not how that works. It's when you're pushing yourself in vulnerable situations. Mom, I need you to trust more. But also, I'm learning to trust more. And when I'm able to trust myself, you're going to be able to trust me. Trust is a very powerful thing, but there's only one way you can build it. Well, there's two, but it's being consistent. Show of hands here, who's in sports? So this should be an important one. What do we have to do in order to get better at our sport? We gotta practice, right? Practice? We're just talking about practice. Why do we practice? To get better, to build on habits. But there's another big reason why we practice. We practice to understand failure. Anybody here scared to fail? Anybody here enjoy failing? Really? A few of you enjoy failing. I appreciate that. We practice to get better. We practice to fail so that we have the opportunity to learn new things. You can't grow in comfort. You can only grow in discomfort. But we practice to be consistent failures. Because when we fail, when we make mistakes, the opportunity is to grow. Well, what would consistency look like? For anyone that's joining me in the workshop after this, this is something we'll talk about. But consistency in sports, I'll just talk sports related here, is going to bed on time, waking up at a reasonable time and ensuring that you have nourishment, going to school, doing your schoolwork, ensuring that you're hydrated, ensuring that you have proper nourishment during the day, finishing school, finishing your homework, going to practice a half hour before you train so you're ready to go. That is consistency. Not doing any of those things, or maybe doing a couple of them, showing up late for practice, or just showing up at the right time for you to get ready 15 minutes into practice is inconsistent. It's very hard to be trusting in that situation. But more importantly, you're showing yourself that you can't be trusted because you are building inconsistencies in your life. But if you're able to do more consistent things on a more regular basis, you can trust yourself and you can trust other people. Oh, story time. More stories. Okay, we're going back to this. So I'm the defending Paralympic champion. Oh, I should share what one of those looks like. This is a Paralympic gold medal. You want to hold it? I am now, September last year, defending that. And I will tell you, I have never been more uncomfortable in my life. Because the thing is, when you are representing Canada, you are not just representing yourself. Right? You're representing, in this case, Paris, 42 million people. Population of Canada in 2024 was 42 million people. I am representing all of you. Everyone in this room I was representing. And I don't know about you, but figuratively thinking about the weight of that many people is crushing. But not only that, I was representing myself, my wife, my coaches, my team. There's so much crushing power from all these other people. No wonder I hated them. You are the ones that are putting the pressure on me. You are the ones that are making me feel this way. Does that sound like someone was talking about earlier? I am now blaming you for my discomfort because of this pressure. Oh, sorry. There's a little bump on the end of my arm. It's a finger. So when I do this, it's quotations. That was a short-handed joke. See, I can also be fun when I give this talk. There's a one-arm joke. Did you get it? No, really? Okay, fair. Short-handed, because I'm short a hand. There we go. Guys, girls, that was really funny. I'm surprised you didn't laugh. Anyways, the slow clap. Mr. McRae told me about the slow clap. Okay, sorry, I got off topic. Because of my discomfort, you're the problem. I hate everything about you because of how uncomfortable I feel. And I'm sure this is something that rings a bell for a lot of you, because when we're feeling upset, they're the problem. I'm sure some of us here in a relationship that be like, oh, they're the problem. There's probably a good chance you're the problem. So, I'm feeling really uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this way. How do I get better? One of the words I shared, I'll give you a hint, it starts with an O. Ownership, that's right. Okay, I don't feel very good. I want to feel better. I have to take ownership of this. What is one of the hardest things to ask for? Sorry? Help. Do you know why help is one of the hardest things to ask for? Because we feel like we're the only one going through that scenario. We're the only one feeling that way. Heads up, you are not the only one feeling that way. Your scenario might look different, but you're feeling the same as many other people. So I asked for help. When you're on a national team, you get sports counselors, psychiatrists, psychologists. So I asked one of our team psychologists, hey, I need help. She's like, okay, Greg, well, you already took ownership because you asked for help. The second, Greg, can you trust you're gonna be okay? And I was like, well, no, I freaking hate everybody. How am I gonna be okay? She's like, have you been consistent? So when you are competing at a Paralympic or Olympic level, basically your job is to compete. Right, so I train 30 to 40 hours a week. And it's typically throwing and lifting and video and exercise and mobility and massage and chiro, all of these things. And I would do them on a consistent basis so I could get better, so I could understand the failures that I'm experiencing. Okay, I've been pretty consistent. I think I can trust myself. I've taken ownership. I can now trust in my actions and what I've done. That aligns with my morals and my values. I've worked hard, I've done the work. I trust what I'm doing, I'm showing up. So after getting help, when I woke up on September 4th, I didn't feel anything. I actually loved everyone. Because, wow, hey, I'm competing for Canada. I'm going to represent 42 million people again. This is going to be really cool. Instead of instead of me putting the pressure of now I have to do well for them, I can just be like, I'm just going to go out there and do my best. And so I had the opportunity, and I won another one. I'm a 2-time Paralympic gold medalist. Oh, thank you. I was able to win 2 gold medals from doing the hard things. I was able to win 2 gold medals by challenging myself to get through the difficult times. But there's a real important thing to understanding these medals. These medals do not define me. I'm not Greg Stewart, 2-time Paralympic gold medalist. I'm Greg Stewart, someone who has won 2 Paralympic gold medals. They do not define me. Because I want you to know what happens after September 4th. Yeah, September 5th. What happens after September 4th is September 5th. And what I mean by that is, it is another day. Life goes on. And if we hold on to what we are attaching ourselves to, we are going to get lost. Because we're going to be too focused on what was going on in the past and instead of what's currently going on in the present. Even though they don't define me, they actually remind me. Does anyone here have like a trophy or a ribbon or a certification or anything like that? Awesome. Does anyone have them hidden away in a box or like in their sock drawer or anything like that? Okay, fair enough. I also have a few in a box. For those of you that don't have your medals or your certifications are that exposed and visible, pull them out. Put them up on your wall. Put them up on the fireplace. I keep all my medals on the fireplace mantle. Because when life is challenging, when I'm struggling, and all of you will, you have an opportunity to look at something to remind you when you got through the challenging things. When you did the really, really difficult things, you have something to look at. Because you are going to struggle. You probably are already. It's important to note that you can get through that struggle. You are not alone. You can fight through it. You can see great things. And having something on the wall can help remind you of that. You do not have to struggle alone. Having a little reminder to help you get through those challenges can definitely move you in a different direction. Just realize I don't have the clicker on me. I think that's just a blank screen. Yeah. Whoa, look at that. Man, you guys are clapping. It's awesome. All right, we're almost done. We are almost done. That guy's excited over there. He put his hands up like that. I appreciate that. Vulnerability is something all of you are experiencing. And by all of you, I mean even the teachers in here. It's something that we are going to be faced with every day of our lives. So we have an opportunity in that vulnerability to make a mindful choice, to be aware of how we want our life to look. When we can understand what our integrity looks like, when we can take ownership of our actions and our emotions, and trust in it, we can create a really cool world. I've been able to create 2 Paralympic gold medals. There's very, very few people in the world that will win an Olympic or Paralympic medal, let alone a gold medal. And there will be very few that win more than one. But remembering that they don't define us, they remind us of when we did really cool and incredible and challenging things. We created great things. But at last, what's a tool we can use to get us to that? And it's a very simple tool, and all of us have been doing it in this room this entire time, and it's not listening. I know you've been listening, but it's a very simple tool that can help us become more mindful and create great things. Anyone know what that is? Anyone want to take a guess? I just did it. Sorry? Patience, yeah? Not quite. It's a very simple thing. I'm doing it right now, sorry. Sorry? Breathing. Sounds crazy. Sounds crazy, but one of the easiest tools for us to be more aware and mindful of who we are is by stopping and taking a deep breath. Has anyone ever stubbed their toe real bad and were like, and had to breathe their way through it? That is the most simplest tool. And I'm going to ask if we all do it together. Not yet. We're all going to do it to the count of 6. I'm going to count up to 6 while I take a deep breath in. We're going to hit 6, we're going to hold it, and then we're going to drop it. For 6 seconds, I'm going to ask that we do this in silence. And that we do it not to show off for the person next to you. We are doing it in silence for ourselves. Because if we do end up chatting to the person next to us or showing off and stuff, like, you're taking away from it. Because your actions are creating more discomfort and are actually taking away from people. So we're all going to take a deep breath in. Not yet. Okay, ready? Here we go. Deep breath in. Hold it. Let go. I do appreciate the people that chose to do it in silence. Those that didn't, just know that you're also impacting the world around you. But ultimately, when you can learn to be vulnerable and make conscious decisions, you can create an incredible life around you. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Grizzlies, and thank you, Greg. Once again, a round of applause. Thanks to you. We appreciate having you out here to speak with us and set the stage for today. Grizzlies, today our Careers Day, just a couple of notes. First, I hope you heard today's message And some of those words are so important, and I saw on that ownership slide, that bullet point that says we can choose how we show up. And those ideas, choosing how we show up, being uncomfortable, learning how to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, these are how we can take the most out of today, how we take the most out of our sessions, and how we best prepare ourselves for the opportunities that we planned for, and the ones that emerge that we didn't see coming. As we get ready for Careers Day, we'll have an opportunity to do some Q&A. Can I just quickly see, I know that Greg's Olympic medals are floating around. If you've got one of the medals, can I just see them up in the air for a quick second? Got one there, and
Oh, it's right there.
there we go, thank you.
Big question, are they heavy?
Those are heavy medals. We're going to have a chance here for just a couple questions for Greg. If you've got the medals, if you've had a chance to see them, can we just make sure that they get returned? After a couple questions, I'm going to ask grade 12s in the theater. Our next session starts at 10:10. When you're dismissed, I'll have you out for the time being. Please remain patient. We're going to have a couple questions here. For us here in the gym, as we are dismissed, if you've got a chair, I'm going to ask that you take your chair, look for a staff member who's going to be near one of these carts. Many hands make light work, so as we get set up for the day, I'll ask that you just bring a chair to the dollies. And in the meantime, my hope is that we've got it. Oh, 1 second, please. Before you're dismissed, I want to put the floor out. It's not often that we have a two-time gold medalist in our midst. Are there any questions that you'd like to ask Greg about today or about his journey as an athlete?
How difficult was it growing up like this?
What do you mean by like this?
Okay, I don't want to be disrespectful, but like, yeah.
Good question. Maybe not, sorry. I'll just yell at you guys. The question was, what was it like being disabled? Just a side note, I'm very, very glad that I have one arm. I'm very happy about it because I get to travel the world because I have one arm. Like I was sharing, I was in Dubai in India 3 weeks ago because I have one arm. Yes, I'm good at sports, I understand that. But it's my arm that allowed me to do it. But it took me a while to realize that my arm can create great things. Because I was bullied growing up as a kid. I wasn't bullied in a sense of like, well, yeah, people were always pointing fingers, but I was silently bullied. And what I mean by that, I just wasn't included. I wanted to be part of certain groups and stuff like that, but I just was never included in them. Anyone 14 years old in here? When I was 14, I was 6'8". I was a very tall kid. I was a very tall kid. And because I was tall and awkward, and because I had one arm, I wasn't included in things. I just want you to know that bullying is a terrible thing, and I'm sure we hear about that all the time. And the only reason people bully is because they're uncomfortable. They see somebody they can take advantage of because they are just as uncomfortable. But once I started to realize that, hey, my arm actually is allowing me to do really cool things, and I was confident in myself, I just started to do a lot of really cool things. Right, I've been to 6 world championships. I've won 4 of them. I've been to 2 Paralympic Games. I've won both of them. And I've done it because I have one arm. So imagine when you learn to be comfortable with who you are and recognize your differences, what you could create from that. Because it is our differences that make us unique, but they also make us who we are. And when we learn to understand it, We learn to create incredible things around us. That's the long-winded. So yeah, I was bullied, but I turned it into some pretty cool stuff. I saw hands up over here.
What I'm going to invite at this time is, my thoughts are there's probably a few questions for Greg and his journey. At this time, we're going to enter a break. I invite anybody who has a question to come up and see Greg, to have that conversation, to ask, to have that opportunity to learn. For the rest of us, I'm going to ask that we follow directions. If you're on the bleachers, I'm going to have you exit and return. Next session starts at 10:10. If you're seated in the chairs, if you can please bring your chair to one of the dollies. And again, if you have a question for Greg, please come up and see him and bring the medals back as well.
Oh my god. Gosh, I'm sorry. I want to give him a fist bump.